All right, so we wanted to jump on and talk about the realities and the truth about starting a physical products brand on Amazon,
Mhm.
because I feel there is a lot of incorrect things that are floating around that are causing people to have the wrong thoughts on how much it actually costs to get started with selling products on Amazon and other platforms, as
Mhm.
well as other things as well, like timelines. Like, let's just go through a ton of stuff, Peter, in this video. Let's just have an open chat about the realities of actually starting a physical products brand. So where do we start?
100%, 100%, Alex. I've been wanting to talk about this for a long time, right? I was saying to my partner today, we were driving along, and I was like to her, like, I really feel like this message I want to share. And I think this is the message, right? First of all, people think when they're starting a business online, be it on Amazon, be it on Shopify, be it on anything, they think that it's not real. It's not a real business. Like it's not going to involve the investment that a real business does. Like Alex, if you were opening a coffee shop in the town you live in, like you're not like, well, 500 euro, £500, $500, maybe a wee coffee machine, and I'm up and running. Like you're just not going to think that. But for some reason, people think when it comes to online, they're like, yeah, 1,000, yeah, that'll do it. It'll be up and running. We're all done. I'll make a pile of money and I'll retire. Guys, it doesn't work like that. And I think what's happening now, people believe that and they see all these like flashy numbers on TikTok and all these other social media platforms, and they think, yeah, that is it. It's so simple. I'm just going to go out there and do it. And then when that doesn't happen, they they nearly feel like, oh, Amazon doesn't work. It's all wrong. I'm a failure. And then it's just a pure
Or
mess. Do you see what I'm saying?
or they blame people like you and me. They blame the people who are
Angel.
putting like information on the good information on the platform. It tarnishes us. And like we're like I would say one of the most transparent people when it comes to this
I
stuff.
believe.
Like we share real numbers, real results, real realities.
Hmm.
Like we don't want to share absolute BS just to get people in the door or anything like that. Hook them in just because like we can say, oh, you can start a business for this much, or it's like almost like not telling the truth really. But having said that, I just want to talk a little bit about what you said then about the coffee shop theory. So
Yeah.
like if you did want to start a brick and mortar store in any of you, like, wherever you're watching this from,
Right.
it would cost a significant investment, tens of thousands of currency, of pounds, dollars, whatever.
People
It
wouldn't
just would.
mind. Yeah, they wouldn't mind.
Look, well, it would because you can see this physical you can
Yeah.
see this physical thing that you have, right? But when it applies to something digital, even if you're selling physical products online, it people treat it more as a hobby. Some people do treat it as a real business, but like, and that's okay. Like you can try and start one of these businesses for as little money as you have, little investment you have, but I guarantee you it'll sting you down the road. So you have to treat this as a real business. And by treating it as a real business, it requires real investment, like a brick and mortar store. Now, I'm not saying it costs as much as that. Like you don't need all the overheads like a building, the staff, the equipment, the tax on the building, like all that stuff that comes along with starting a business like that. But there are definitely things that people just aren't aware of, we believe, that are being told disinformation, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%, Alex. And I think what it comes down to is there's a lot of people out there that think, okay, if I start this business, I'll go and find like the most competitively priced product I can find and I'll just launch that, right? And I want to tell you why I think that's completely the wrong idea. And this is actually coming from experience, right? Because when I started selling on Amazon, it was back in 2016. Back then, it was really easy, like, well, or much easier, rather, I should say, to find lower cost items, to import them, start selling, and make a profit, right? My first item was €1,000, right? It was a dog whistle. Things have changed since then, right? Like back then, you didn't need good creatives. Back then, Amazon wasn't as saturated, particularly in the UK and in Europe. Back then, just wasn't as many people doing it. Like since COVID, that time, like the pandemic, there was so much more people at home and started Amazon businesses. I read somewhere there, I think there's like 2,000 new Amazon businesses every single day. And again, don't let that put you off. Like the reality is, like there is. enough people to buy these products, right? But
Mm.
most of those people are going to be running for lower cost, quick fixes. Just stick my name on a product and ship it into Amazon, and I like hoping they're going to make money. I guarantee you, a lot of those businesses will fail, right? They'll fail, right? What I've come to realize over the last little while, and I want you guys to get this, and this is so important, right? You need to ask yourself, are you building a real business, a real brand, or are you just messing around on Amazon, right? Because if you're messing around on Amazon, I'm going to say go after the really low cost items. You might be lucky, but by and large, you're going to find it hard, right? You'll understand how the system works, but you'll find it hard to make money. And if you do make money, it won't be proper money, right? It won't be consistent. You'll be getting a lot of competition. It just won't really work, right? Whereas if you're serious, like I'm going to build a business here that maybe I'm going to sell in 3 to 5 years' time, or I'm building something that, I want to expand globally and something concrete, something really serious, right? You can go and launch something that's more expensive, a more premium product, right? This is something that myself and yourself, Alex, we have shifted towards, right? This didn't just happen overnight. We've shifted, as we've noticed things changing over the last number of years, we've shifted to these more expensive products, right? We launched a brand recently in I wouldn't say the biggest niche, right? But we launched it. It's an outdoor niche. And we spent, a considerable sum of money, right? For us when it comes to launching products. We used to launch much more lower cost items. But that has proved dividends because the reviews we're getting are, 5-star reviews. The people that are using it are spreading it and talking about the product to their friends. People are buying it on our Shopify store as well. It's kind of like a word of mouth thing. It just spreads because the product is so good. But that's because we invest in the product. So, you know, really, if you think you're going to come in here into Amazon, onto any of these platforms, as I said, and just launch the cheapest product you can find, it's not going to work. I'm going to say it now, it's not going to work. But if you're prepared to invest in a product and perhaps spend 10, 15, 20,000 on the right product, I think you're really much you've much less competition and you are far more likely to succeed and you've got much bigger margins. Remember, small items, something goes wrong, Amazon increases their fees, shipping gets more expensive, PPC goes up, whatever, you compete with all these other people, they drop their price, you have no margin, right? Whereas if you're making
Totally.
30, 40, 50, 60 quid profit per sale, right? Or even 20 quid per sale, right? You can absorb those little changes.
Totally.
You don't
Yeah.
near the competition. And that I think, guys, is what people are missing. And that's what's frustrating me because, I want you guys to succeed. Nothing makes me feel worse than seeing someone not reach their potential. And a lot of times, if you give someone advice, but that advice is costly, and then they don't do it, they're hurting themselves. And they really need to think, well, hold on, do I want to do this properly or do I want to just take a chance?
Well,
You know what I mean, Alex?
I mean, yeah, totally. Like we've invested, I think we've changed our mindset a lot on selling
Yeah,
products over the years. Like we started selling in 2016, and back then you literally could just sell anything. Not anything, but like you could
much
find opportunity in a lot of markets and just sell a very similar product with a bonus item in there, and it would sell. It would, you know, it would sell. It would definitely would sell. But now I feel like you were saying it is getting more and more saturated. Now, saturation, I think, isn't a negative thing. I actually don't believe in the word saturation because the more products are available, there's more people to buy them. So it's not exactly getting any more saturated than it was 5 years ago.
yeah, there's
But
more people shopping on Amazon.
people's perception is changing on what they want to spend their money on. So, like Peter mentioned some numbers then about spending 10, 15, 20,000 pounds investing into a product or a multiple line of products. Um, there are some people that do that. There are some people that have capital available to do that with higher ticket products, which is completely fine. You don't need to be spending that much also. But what we're trying to say is like, don't try and enter this business with as little capital as you can, because
Mm.
it will come back later on to bite you. And like Peter said, if there is a small change in logistics, in Amazon's pricing, or something that is essentially out of your control, your margins are cut like down to literally nothing, and then you're essentially working for nothing or making a loss. And that's not why you got into this business. You got into this business because you wanted to build a real business that gave you, I don't know, freedom, made you more money. It was a fun thing to do. So now we have shifted our focus to building brands. And a brand is something that like an audience of people can get behind, right? So this is something that we are very strong on now, and something that we put a lot of time and energy into teaching people this, that it pays to go the extra mile with products. And
Mm.
we've just proved this with our latest brand with Apex, which is a mountain bike goggle brand. And that has been, it started off small. Like Peter said, the market isn't the biggest market.
No.
We have a really small collective group of people who love the product, and they essentially do the selling for us on and off Amazon. So it pays to go the extra mile and invest your time and energy into creating a great product, which takes away this whole fear of saturation and that's that sort of thing. And that's what we're really focused on now, and sharing all the details around that side of things. Because you log on to TikTok or Instagram and you start swiping through the short form feed, I guarantee you'll be met with people telling you that you can make this much money in this short period of time, or but they're not telling you the full story. That person that's made this large chunk of money, I can almost guarantee if it's legit, which it most probably, well, maybe, there's probably a lot of things that they're not sharing. They're just showing you the sizzle. They're just showing you this fucking the end result. That's it. They don't show you, oh, it took this person literally 10 years to learn how to actually make that much money, but you don't even know the details as how much they put in terms of money, who's invested into that, what the market is, or you don't know any of those details. They could have been pushing paid advertising to that product for all you know, and just pumping sales onto
Mm.
Amazon, and then it just looks like they've made a ton of money. But without sharing profit numbers, do you know if that's legit? But it hooks people in. And then it gives people the wrong impression of both the business model and also courses or online coaches. Because I feel there's a lot of very good coaches out there. Like online programs and coaches are one of the things that changed my life by investing into people who'd already achieved results I was looking to achieve in many different areas, right? And if it gets tarnished by people like not telling the truth and over promising things like unrealistic results. I think that's what one thing we're quite big on, right? Like I'm not the biggest fan unless we can like I don't like guaranteeing monetary values with brands. Like we can make a broad statement that's like, look, if you follow our framework and you follow our coaching methodology and take action on what we're telling you, you will definitely be way further forward than you were if you went this on your own. I
One.
can I can guarantee that. In terms of how much money you will make, or like will your Amazon store be making hundreds of thousands a month? That's a stupid thing to guarantee because we've no idea what the product's going to do, what your work ethic is like, or anything like that. But I feel there are some people out there who promote that stuff to hook people in, right? Um, I mean, what are your thoughts, Peter, on that? I mean, we're going pretty deep onto branding now, and yeah, yeah,
I think if you're selling anything, you want to have it that you can sleep well at night. And I think with people sometimes because they see all this, they take this from all these other people they see online, they build these expectations, which may not be real. They may be, but they may not. And I think that's what we want to make this video, which is very much just to show you that, you know what, this is what you need to be thinking about. This is how you need to be thinking about this model if you are actually serious about this. Like if you want to go and believe that, great. Believe that you can make millions by just doing an hour's work. But I can tell you you can't, right? But what I can tell you is that if you actually want to build a brand, if you want to invest in yourself and learn something, a skill in yourself, that you can do that. And I suppose really what I want to think about is where I see people not investing enough in products, because I think that's really important because sometimes people there's certain parts of it that I think can let them down, and then it ultimately it hurts them, right? One of the biggest things I see people not invest enough in, and what I really think they need to invest in, is creative, right? So again,
Mm.
as I said, years ago when we started, you just needed a picture of the product with a white background. That was it. That was simple. You could do it yourself, right? Now you need infographics, you need A+ content, you need all this imagery, right? But what that imagery does is it relays your brand, right, to the consumer, and it creates a hopefully a premium feel. That premium feel is tangible, right? And that's a once-off investment in your product in terms of the photography and the creative. But that keeps paying you for, 1, 2, 3, 4 years, right? Because that will increase your conversion rate. And if you can increase your conversion rate, you will make more money, period. If you double your conversion rate, you've halved your PPC cost.
Yeah.
That's the way you need to look at it, right? And there's a
Mm.
saying in marketing, he who can spend the most to acquire a customer wins, right? So
Yeah.
we
Totally.
want our page converting at its best, right? People don't think of that. So please think of your creative guys, right? Again, the
Totally.
product. People sometimes they want the product in the cheapest packaging or like the lowest potential quality of product. Like they want it just enough, right? We seen this recently with Apex. Like we went above and beyond with the product. Like, we nearly doubled our base price from the manufacturer by the time we were finished with it. Because every time something came up and we were faced with a decision like, do we include this? Do we not? We thought, well, what's best for the customer? What's best for the
Yeah.
product? We thought as well. And we were
That's
like,
the only, I mean that's the only question you should ask. What is like put like if you actually put the customer first, like you genuinely do it in
genuinely.
everything you do, not just say it. If you actually think, well, how do I put my desire for money and a business success to one side for a second, and how do I make a fucking good product that my customers want? Like that's if you put that first and you actually do it, then you win. Because most people don't do that. Like I
Yeah.
think like one of our early mentors, I remember saying he taught us that the competition is weak, and like in some markets, yes, literally just having a product in the market, like Peter was saying, it will sell.
Mhm.
Um, but even then, if you do think of customer first, the customer first approach, and you go above and beyond what all the other people are doing, who are literally just listing a product on Amazon or listing a product in the marketplace, and yeah, it does sell. But if you go above and beyond what they're doing and think, well, what are these people missing? How can I make things more superior? You literally will win. And I don't win in when I say win, I don't mean take all the sales, like from Amazon, for example. Like, I mean, win as in give the customer what they want, provide a great customer experience, and take a slice of the sales when it comes to Amazon anyway. Um, but yeah, I get super passionate about talking about this stuff because we see it so much, and we've had a lot of students that have come for our program. And I think we have seen some common struggles from people, common challenges which we've overcome. But I feel like it's nice to address these things every now and again, and just tell people like where we're at, recalibrate people, share what we're thinking, what we're doing, so everyone can win together. We're not. I, I keep coming back to this transparency thing, but I'm super passionate about it. Like I think we try very hard to show people everything. I mean, we could almost give away a lot of our like courses and everything. I mean, we're not teaching anything new. I don't think really. I mean, there's very few things inside our course that is actually, brand new that no one has ever seen before. It's just the fact that it's in a step-by-step roadmap that works if you follow it, right? And that coupled with coaching and mentoring from people who have been there and done what you're trying to achieve is a as a recipe for success in anything. Um, yeah, I'm just like so I probably got off on a tangent on all sorts of stuff there, but I get like quite fired up when people talk about this, and when I see the same problems coming here over and over again, it makes me think, well, how do we how do we make a better product for our customers, and how do we be even more transparent or help people out even more? Hmm.
100%, Alex. That's really Really bang on, really bang on, to be honest with you. I think the way we make a better product is the same way we make better e-commerce products. We just put the customer first.
But literally, like if
Simple.
you ask that one question in anything you do, you can't literally can't lose. In the business sense, you can't lose. Literally,
No,
there's no downside.
not a bit, not a bit. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this ramblings from myself and from Alex. We certainly enjoyed it. And if you want to learn more, you want to keep following along, hit the subscribe button. Lots more content coming your way.
Yeah, and we've also got some useful links in the description.
Absolutely. Take care.